This right here is one of the coolest shower floors that I've ever done. We have a curbless shower with a large format tile floor inside the shower. For something like this, we upcharge at minimum $1,000. Let me show you how I did it. If this helps you, make sure to hit subscribe and follow. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a template of our shower floor. And in order to do that, I'm using these 1/8" thick pieces of wood that I just got by running a piece of 2x4 through my table saw. And then we're just going to mark the location of our shower drain, and then also just the actual shape of the shower itself. Make sure that you're stepping away about 1/4 of an inch off the wall to give it a little bit of wiggle room for your tile. Then we're going to go in the garage and just lay out our floor pattern as if it was just regular tile install. This way we know the pattern of the floor, and then we can lay our template on top of that and see where it looks best.
All right, so we found a nice flat area to spread our tile around. We made sure that all the grout lines are nice and tight this way. Then also we squared it off with a nice large framing square. And then I just butt up my other long level to make sure that we have nice line. So now what we want to figure out is where do we want to put our grout lines. So ideally what I want to see is I want to have this as my grout line into the shower. I want the shower to begin with a full piece of tile on this side. This way I don't have any cut edges when people are walking in. So that's my front there. I'm going to get my my template right on top of this guy here. So I want this corner to be lined up right there with that front. I want this to be lined up the best that it can right there. And ideally, we would go right here. This is where I want, and it actually is gonna work out because this is gonna be our wall. So when we're going to tile up against our wall and then going to go where the door enters, that will wrap around that door really nice. And we still have a nice large piece at the end there. So now what I'm going to do is grab my Sharpie. I have my template right on the top here. This is what I want. This is where I want it to be, right here. I've got my template here. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and trace this off. So the last part that we have to do before we start cutting all this up is that we have to connect this corner of the drain to our corners of the shower. So corner to the corner, corner to the corner there. So right here for us, we want to go right into that corner there, line it up right there. Again, use our Sharpie and draw our relief cut line. This is what's going to allow for you to make that funnel that you need in order for that water to drain into the shower drain. Otherwise, it's not going to, and you would have massive lippage. So we're going to line that up, make our lines. All right, now all that we have to do is just make all of our cuts, essentially cut all of our Sharpie lines, and then go ahead and start installing it. Make sure that you don't mess up the order, so keep track of that, right? All right, now that we have everything pre-cut, what we have to do is kill this edge on this side right now. Because if you look at it, one, there's little tiny chips on it, and two, it's a little rough to your touch if you were to step on it with your bare feet. So what you're gonna do is grab your polishing pad. We have ours, that's a Rubi pad. Turn it on. Now this is nice and smooth to your touch, and it looks perfect. So what we have to do is go through all of our cuts and just kind of kill the edge just like that.
So before I go ahead and start tiling the shower floor itself, what I'm going to do is actually tile the floor of the bathroom first. This way I know exactly the fixed points of which I have to work off of. So this was a 2-day process for me. I kind of tiled the middle before I went home, so then the next day I could tile the right side of the floor and then the left side of the floor as well. This way I could do the entire room without having to be forced into the corner. So once that is done, the next day we can then go ahead and start working on the floor itself. So the floor, it does take a little bit of patience with this, because once you start setting it up, things just start to move around. The tile leveling clips do help a lot, and you're not trying to set your floor level here or whatever. Like, all that the tile leveling clips are doing is preventing you from having bad lippage. So that's the only thing. You still want to make sure that you're getting that nice slope towards the drain. And the biggest and almost the most important thing that you have to be concerned about is that around your drain, you want to make sure that the drain itself is below the tile just so slightly, so that there's no pooling going on. Then we're going to clean everything up, and then we're going to turn this thing over to the homeowners. Look how sick this looks. This is one of the coolest floors that we have ever done. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to follow and subscribe.